now from Kansas City.
How are you, Colin?
I'm doing great. Great to see you. So, a couple times you've sent me plays you've designed. You won't tell me when you're using them, but you'll give me those play designs. And I've said there's something about your method. You're a mentor. It's why so many of your assistants go on to succeed. And do you still, with Patrick Mahomes, do you say, hey, I got a great idea. I stole this off YouTube from a 1950 Rose Bowl. Do you go to Patrick first? Where does this stuff come from in your head? Because I know what you do in the offseason. That's why your record in September, you got all these card tricks. Where does that stuff come from?
Yeah, well, some of them we think of. Some of them we kind of borrow from it doesn't matter where, right? I mean, we'll take it from anybody. So it can be Pop Warner football team. If it looks good, we'll try it. And then I've got great coaches and creative guys. I've got these young guys that have great minds, and so they put things together. They know they've got the full form to draw from, and let's try it. Who says it's impossible? And then Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. These guys on the offensive side, they'll donate a play here or there, and they've got great minds. So and all in all, everybody gets a little piece of the pie and feels pretty good about it, and we try to go out and execute it at mock speed.
You know, Andy, you have not fallen for this. I don't need to name the coaches, but there are some, when they get power in their organization, they want to control personnel. And in my opinion, it's hard enough to be a great coach and a great GM separately. Those are two jobs. You have arguably the best draft GM in the league in Brett Veach, and really sharp guy. He's hit on multiple mid and late round picks. You don't appear to be somebody that needs, either for ego gratification or whatever it is, you don't have to call the shots. But has there ever been a time when you've gone to Brett and said, hey, I like this guy? Or do you just let Brett say, hey, because Parcells had the great line, if I'm making dinner, I got to buy the groceries. I get it. But how does that thing with you and Brett work if you love a college player?
So Brett was my administrative assistant out of college. And then he's worked his way up through. So I've got like the ultimate trust in the guy. I don't need to say anything to him. However, he brings myself and the coaching staff everything. He wants to know our opinion. And so and then he also takes obviously the opinion of his guys and he blends this thing in, and then he makes the decision on it. I'm sure if I went to him and said, hey, listen, I can't stand this guy, but he knows after all these years, he knows what we try to do offensively and defensively and the kind of guys that we like here. So I've never had that or needed to have that conversation with him of, I got to have this guy, or this is my, I don't like your guy. We don't ever go there.
So there was a point during the regular season, Jason and I would say this on the air, I'd say, I trust Andy, you'll figure it out, but I don't love what I'm seeing with this receiving core. And I said this multiple times. I'm like, if Burrow was healthy, I don't know if I'd take Kansas City. But you figured it out over time. Rashee Rice elevated. There was more consistency. But was there a time last season, week 6, week 9, week 12, that you sat down and thought, I don't know if we got the firepower here. I don't know if I can get this right. Because I felt about Thanksgiving, I'm like, it still doesn't look right to me.
That's because you were letting Jason influence you, man. Come on. After this conversation, he's going to put some red on and jump on the bandwagon. So this is the one thing that I knew, Colin, is it's so important. You are a quarterback. You know this. That sweet zone for you is inside those numbers. And we've got one of the best that's ever done it with Kels. Kels has always had Sundance next to him, right? So with the Butch Cassidy Sundance analogy here, he's always had that guy to work with him. And that's so important for working inside those numbers. It's a happy zone for the quarterbacks. And then you've got to get two guys that can play out. We had Sammy here. We've had Juju here.
Yeah, Juju.
Pringle jumped in. They all do kind of, they know how to play in zones. They know how to get off man coverage. They know how to play in that tight area there. And that becomes so important for Kelce's product. People were going, Kelce's over the hill. Well, no, we just needed Rasheed to keep growing, and he was so willing to do that, and Patrick was so willing to work with him, and never got frustrated with him or anything else, and it worked out. So we all had hope. We just needed to keep growing, and we saw it the year before with our defense. Our secondary were a bunch of young guys, and they just kept getting better and better and better. By the time we got to the playoffs, they were rolling.
You know, you when you and Travis Kelce had that thing at the Super Bowl, my take was Andy's different. He has a different relationship. These coaches, some are young, some are old. Shanahan, McVay may have a different relationship with players than a Belichick or a Sean Payton. And my take is, hey, coaches bark at players. Sometimes a player in the heat of a game. I always defended Peyton Manning if he barked at Jeff Saturday. I'm like, guys. Or if Brady barked at Josh McDaniels, I'm like, guys, it's 3 hours. You work all week for these moments. Did you think it was overblown by us, the media?
Yeah, listen, I didn't see him coming, or I would have forearm ripped him. But I mean, he got me. No, listen, I love his passion, and I'm going to tell you, he just goes, fire me up. He's always telling me, fire me up. And so I'm hard on him. He's like one of my kids. I mean, I try to stay on top of him and make sure that he's right, because he's our personality of our team. As great a leader as Patrick is, everybody follows Kelce. When he's fired up, everybody follows along in that. And so, and listen, do things get a little crazy? Yeah, they get a little crazy, but that's why the job's so great. Yeah. His job's great. My job's great. We're not getting put in the back of a police car for arguing with each other. That's not what's happening.
You got to give me a little secret here to the audience. When's the last time you have the world's best quarterback? When's the last time you had to bark at a meeting to Mahomes, or you had to bark at him at practice? Come on, Patrick, get it right. Or if you move past that, I think you bark at him, because I think that's your personality, and I think that's how you keep standards high at any business. When's your last argument with Mahomes?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with a guy that comes into the huddle every day and goes, "Let's be great," and means it. And so I don't have to bark at him a whole lot. He's a one-driven dude, and that's important for a lot of reasons. But at the same time, if I can get on him just a tick, then I know I can get on anybody in that locker room, and including myself. And they all know that I'm hard on myself. I'm going to try to give them my best every day, and all I ask is that in return. So, but Pat, you don't have to say much to Pat. He honestly wants to work and wants you to give him things, which makes it great. Wants you to give him things to make him even greater than he is today. He wants something for tomorrow.
Yeah. I would make you the favorite next year. I've said this. I thought this was the year to get Andy Reid and Mahomes. This was the year. Your receiving core was developing. I looked at Baltimore playing great. You weren't going to have home field advantage all the way through. I thought this is the year, and you won. So now you've got to convince your players you should be better next year. Guys, they're coming for us. Do you worry at all about – there's a reason nobody three-peats. The Steelers didn't three-peat when the league didn't have all this mobility. Is there a little – how do you light the fire for clearly the best team in the league?
Yeah, I don't worry about the three-peat and all of that. That's not where I'm at. I mean, our guys might think about it or whoever. That's not how I think. I think about it very simply of make sure that you're ready to go when we get to St. Joe. That's training camp. Nothing's going to change there. We're going to go through the process. It's not necessarily easy, but it'll build a foundation. And then let's work after that and get ourselves ready for the game. There's so much energy that goes into each game. You hear coaches say one game at a time. Well, I'm a big believer in that. Yeah. So, but you have to do it. I'm not talking about it. I want to do it. And that's the important thing, I think, when you do all this. And then as long as you can stay relatively healthy and catch, the ball's shaped a little weird. So as long as you can catch the bounce here or there the right way, you have a chance. We've got good players, and Brett's always going to present the coaching staff with good players. So go coach them. and let's take their talents and maximize them, and we'll work on those things that maybe they're not quite as good at and try to get them better there, and let's roll. Let's see what we can do.
Andy, you look good. You're wearing a little, not a pullover now, a little chilly for a Hawaiian shirt. A little chilly there in Kansas City. Yeah,
we're having a storm here, so it's real chilly.
It's great seeing you. Say hi to all the guys in the front office. Congratulations. 10 appearances in the playoffs in 11 years, 8 straight division titles. One of these days I'm going to make it to the Combine. You're one of the last coaches that goes. Great seeing you.
Hey, this door is always open for you. You can come back here anytime, man.
All right.
It's going to get you away from the beach, but that's all right.
I like the beach. Andy Reid.